How you doing?
Thank you.
You must be getting used to doing this now.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice.
All right. Good morning, everybody. And it's so nice. I think before I start, I just want to say how great it is to be back in Long Beach and this fantastic event. And, you know, Chris Pook, just a little later, is here. Jim McCallion, he's the steward. He's the steward of this great event now. I'm really looking forward to the weekend, and we have Long Beach weather. You know, it gets better and better every year. So where else would you rather be than here? And I think the answer is there's nowhere else. That's right. So it's great to be here. And thanks for all of you who come out and join us today. Before I get started, for the formal announcement, I'd like to introduce some of the folks that are up here. Teddy Yip Jr. To my right, who you'll hear from in a little bit. David Kennedy, my Irish mate. We used to race Formula 3 together back in the dark ages when tires were made out of wood. Mark Miles, CEO of IndyCar and Holman Company. Mark, thanks for coming. I mentioned Chris already. Same circle. This is Pook. Great Mario Andretti. Mario, thank you for coming. I'll never forget my first race to watch here. First time I came to Long Beach was in '77. Sat at the top of the motorhome and watched Mario outbreak. Jody Scheckter and Lauda was in that. There were three of you going at it. And I think that probably put this race on the map in America and winning the U.S. Grand Prix at the time. So it was a fabulous event. And then, of course, I probably don't need to introduce this guy. The tall drink of water over here. Graham. This is an exciting day for us to announce our partnership with Theodore Racing, which is re-entering racing here in North America for the first time in I don't know how many years. It's been quite a while. And I have to tell you that... Sorry?
31.
31. Thank you very much, Victoria. And I have to tell you that I got to know Teddy's father, Teddy Yip Sr., back in the 70s, and he was a real character. And when you look at his involvement in motorsport in that day, whether it was Formula 1 or Formula 5000, Formula Atlantic, Formula 2, I mean, you name it, Teddy had his fingerprints in all those different types of categories. And if you look at, it really was a who's who of drivers that drove for Teddy over the years, guys like Alan Jones, who then became a world champion, Tony Bryce, who really put his name on the map here, I guess, in that first Formula 5000 race back in '75. K.J. Rosberg, my Atlantic sparring mate, and ended up winning a non-championship F1 race for Teddy in the rain at Silverstone. And then people like Ayrton Senna, Mika Hakkinen, and many, many others, Vern Schuppen. I mean, you name it, it was a who's who. So for us to carry the logo and what have you, Theodore Racing, given all of that great history, is a real honor for us and a real privilege, and we're so appreciative of Teddy Jr. joining with us, and we're here at Long Beach, and then for the Indy 500. Perfect. And I kind of thought it was appropriate that we start here at Long Beach because Teddy Sr. really was one of the great supporters of this event, particularly early on. So it seemed proper to showcase our new relationship here in Long Beach. And I'm sure Chris will talk a little bit about that. But as I said, it's a real honor, a real thrill to be partnered with Teddy Jr. and Theodore Racing in this new venture. I just want to thank you, Teddy, for that. I guess, yeah, thank you. So before I invite Teddy and David to talk to all of you, I think we should probably want us to unveil, right? Where's the captain, where's the boss? Nope, you want us to unveil the car now? So Graham and Teddy, would you unveil that?
Beautiful.
Wow.
That's pretty cool seeing the Theodore Racing name on the side of that car, isn't it?
Yeah, really.
So David, Teddy, would you like to say a few words to the photos. Thank you.
Firstly, thank you all for coming. I'm very excited about reintroducing the Theodore Racing name to North American motorsport. As some of you may know, my father, Teddy Sr., founded Theodore Racing purely for his love of motorsport and the people associated with it. He worked with some great names in Formula 1 and IndyCar, and made some lifelong friends along the way. So it's a great pleasure to be able to partner with RLL, particularly for the 30th anniversary of Bobby's Indy 500 win. Yeah, all I can say really is I'm very excited to be here. Thank you, Bobby, and everyone for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Bobby. Thanks, Teddy. I think that Bobby was talking about the old days. We're actually 5 days difference when we were born back in the dark ages. 5 days. You're older than I. A lot older. But you talked about driving Formula 3 with wooden tyres. What you forget or fail to mention is that we had heads as of concrete because they were such difficult days and dangerous days. When we raced Formula 3, it was difficult to be really successful in those days because we had 7 World Championships on the grid with us when we were racing Bobby. Did you know? There was Alan Prost won 4 World Championships. We had DK won 3 World Championships. And we were both immigrants in the world of motorsport. Bobby had come from his homeland to race in Europe. I'd left Ireland. Interestingly, aside, I worked in the mines in Australia with a well-known now American named Derek Daly. To get our money together, we went to work in the mines because we go motor racing, and Al Connor is on the grid. And I can tell you, Derek has been beating me over the head and said, "Bring Theodore to us." But my lineage with Bobby goes back a long way, and Bobby came to Ireland and met my colleague Martin Lorraine, who used to own a load of cars. And so I've seen Bobby over the years, and I think when you see the DNA that Bobby brought to the world of motorsport, that feisty challenge that you take, which is obviously clearly evident in the son of Graham, that it was really appropriate that we joined with Bobby in the Theodore Racing program. Theodore runs as well in Europe and in Asia under a slightly different brand. We run in Macau, Teddy's old home ground, and we've had a couple of victories there to bring it on. So this is our first foray into America, and Teddy, I must say, and Beverly, his mum, is so excited to relive the days of their youth when they raced many years ago. 31 years ago, did you say? So let's hope we can have some of that great success and enjoy the world of motorsport here in America, which was Teddy Sr.'s to some degree. It was his home territory, and he always felt so welcome here. And I raced here in Long Beach myself in 1980 with a car called Shadow, but a certain driver over here was quicker than me, so I didn't get on the grid. And that was 1980, which unfortunately had the accident of Clay Regazzoni, if any of you go back that far to remember those days. But we're delighted to be here, and thank you, Bobby, for such a great welcome, and all the team. You've made Teddy and Beverly feel so at home. Thanks. Thanks, David. Before I bring Mario to come up and Mark Miles, Chris, you want to come up and regale us with a couple Theodore Racing stories?
Thank you, Bobby. Well, good morning. Congratulations to you, Graham, having Theodore Racing. Congratulations, Teddy, Beverly, David. Good work, good work. Teddy Yip, if I may spend a couple of moments on him, was one of those, I would like to phrase him as a gentleman racer of the late 60s and the 70s and the 80s. He was kind of in the Rob Walker class of car owner. He did it with style, he did it with flair, he did it with great panache. And I can tell you all that those 3 adjectives arrived in Long Beach in September of 1975. When I first met Teddy, it was at a lunch at Lombardo's in those days. I was asked to go and meet him. I think Albert maybe remember those days. And when Teddy arrived in the restaurant, it was almost like an 18-wheel truck came through the door. Because he literally took over the place. Everybody wondering, who is this diminutive Chinese gentleman that just walked in that seems to now run the place. And that was our first experience. The second experience, and of course, Teddy, for us in '75, we didn't really know who Teddy Yip was, and we didn't know what Teddy Yip brought to the table for that particular race, because not only did he brought Tony Bryce, who at that time was being touted as the next English Formula One world champion, driving for Graham Hill's Embassy team. But he came here in Long Beach and did an outstanding performance. I think Mario won the pole that year for the first 5,000 race here. And then Tony proceeded to run away with the first heat in front of a very, very stellar driver entry. And what was interesting, because the car, which as you all will remember was run by Sid Taylor for Teddy, had all this Chinese writing on the side of it. So here was this American audience looking at this red car with this Chinese writing and wondering what was Theodore Racing, and what was a Chinaman by the name of Tony Bryce, and where did he come from driving this car? So it created a huge amount of interest, and Tony was quite a remarkable driver. Unfortunately, he broke in the second heat. But Teddy made his presence felt here. But he made his presence felt on one other occasion, which is, I've only told this story once before, and that was at Al Hagen, who ran Toyota in those days, funeral. On Wednesday night, there was a cocktail party on Santiago Street in Long Beach, put on by the Committee of 300. And Teddy was asked to attend. Well, Teddy, not only did he bring Tony Bryce, but he brought Graham Hill that year with him as well. And those of you who knew Graham Hill, he was a character. He was one of the true characters. And he and Teddy, together in the same room, was pretty much everything out of control. Well, at that cocktail party, there was Gurney, who was also a fun-loving character, and Graham, and Phil were there, and Teddy. And the banter started, as racing car drivers will do when they're not in their race cars and they're on sort of neutral turf. They'll start healing each other and poking each other with fun. And the conversation came up, I believe it was led by Teddy, I know it was led by Teddy. Well, it would be nice to see you two pointing at Dan and Graham, have it out, wouldn't it, on the streets like we normally do. And Graham's answer was, well, you know, Dan and I have really bumped doors on the Kingston bypass just outside in London, but not sure we'll be able to do it in Long Beach. So I thought about it for a second, and I said to Graham and Dan and Phil, if the opportunity comes up this weekend, would you three guys like to do a demonstration run on the circuit? They looked at each other, and of course, it was like putting match to gasoline when those three looked at each other like that. And they said, yeah, we'll do it. And Graham said, oh, we won't bend anything, don't worry, we won't bend anything. So I walked over to Al Hagen, presented the idea to Al Hagen at Toyota, and he thought about it, and he thought, this is a terrific coup. I can get a world champion, 2 world champions in my Toyota Celica. I can get Gurney in my Toyota Celica. We can do a demonstration run. He said, I'll try and make it work. From that point onwards, he went on Friday morning. Toyota brought over 4 Toyota Celicas, for which Bill Simpson had put some safety harnesses in them, with no roll cage. And on Saturday afternoon, the 3 of them plus Bob Bondurant did a 5-lap demonstration race in identical Toyota Celicas. They all crossed the finish line in dead heat, and thus was born the Toyota Celebrity Race. So thank you, Teddy, for your ingenuity and your mischievous thoughts about putting those 4 people in the Toyota Celica and creating the Celebrity Race. Thank you. Congratulations to you guys as well.
Thank you. Great start. Of course, this year at the Toyota Celebrity Race, they have actually some of the Al Jr. is going to drive in it, and I'm not quite sure. Max Pappas and a bunch of others. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to bring Mario and Mark. Would you mind, would you fill us mic? Mario, would like to say a few words. And thank you for coming, taking the time.
Thank you, and again, congratulations to all. What I appreciate the most here is to see a second generation come back to IndyCar, because I know that your dad just loved the series very much. As a matter of fact, you talk about purity. He was there, total purist when it comes to motor racing, because he just loved single-seaters of all different, disciplines, and also introducing single-seaters in Macau and all that sort of thing. But, this is what we obviously love, the purest form of the sport. And on a personal note, something that I will always remember, you talk about your dad being so generous, the ultimate host. I was invited to Macau, which was for my 25th wedding anniversary with Leanne, and we spent the most wonderful time we could have ever done anywhere, and it didn't cost me a dime. He was amazing, generous beyond words. And, but again, I second what Chris just said, that whenever Teddy would join a group or enter a group, he would brighten everyone. The man had so much energy about him, and he was totally liked and loved by everyone in the sport. So for you to re-enter this arena, it's wonderful to see you. This is good times for IndyCar Racing. Congratulations and all the very best to you guys. Actually, I hope you win.
Thank you very much. Thanks for taking the time to come and join us. Mark? Welcome.
Thank you. I'll be reporting that to Marco and Michael momentarily. I just want to say congratulations to Beverly and to Teddy Jr. and to David and all our own team. To me, this is just perfect. We met just a couple of weeks ago, and I learned about the history. And we think of this as the epic season for IndyCar Racing for some obvious reasons. It's all about the whole series, and not just this big exclamation mark we're going to have in celebrating the 100th of Indianapolis in May. As I had a chance to say last night, to me, Long Beach is the perfect